Depending on where you are coming from. I am Tom Holland, Bowflex Fitness Advisor. Yes, I'm in the kitchen because today I'm going to do a cooking segment. Quote unquote cooking. I pretty much think that if you make something in the kitchen, that's cooking. But actually, it will be a protein shake. But we're going to start doing that more and more here on the Bowflex Breakfast Club. Giving you tips for everything. Giving you nutrition tips. Giving you workout tips. Giving you product tips. Giving you everything. Because we know that it's not just about exercise. It's not just about equipment. So, yes, today our topic is your top 7 nutrition tips. So my top 7 nutrition tips, they're going to be basic, but they're going to be effective. And as always, or not as always, as of last week, we are constantly refining and improving the show. We have Quinn, who will be reading and asking and answering and commenting on your questions along with me. So ask your questions. It can be about anything. Last week, someone said, sorry to get off topic. You cannot get off topic. Yes, I will give you a topic each and every week, but that's just to get the conversation started. So this hour is about you. This hour is about your questions, your feedback, your comments. Let us know. And as I say every week, if Quinn and I can't get to your comment today, right live, we will get to it after the show. So thank you for joining us again. I am Tom Holland, Bowflex Fitness Advisor. This is the weekly Bowflex Breakfast Club. That is a mouthful, hard to say. I was a little frightened to bring you into my kitchen. Yes, this is as clean as it always is. I have a bit of a clean streak in me. Windex is one of my favorite smells. Aphrodisiac for me, a little disturbing, I know. So, yes, I'm going to give you my simple protein shake that I not only make for myself, my wife drinks it, my kids drink it. As we'll talk about on the show here, real food is always the way to go. First and foremost, real food is the way to go. But every now and again, we are going to have to supplement that. So I see things rolling by. I don't have to squint to put on my glasses because I have Quinn helping me out. Anything starting us off?
Yeah, we have Mary says good morning from the UK, and that her favorite, one of her favorite nutrition tips is to drink lots of water and to eat food from the ground. Deborah says, oh my God, we're cooking now. And Thea said good morning from Vernon, BC, Canada. Just got down with my M5 workout.
Awesome. Welcome to everyone. We've got Mary, UK. We've got Deborah. Yes, be very afraid. And congrats on getting that workout in. How great is that? How simple is that? I'm getting ready to incorporate even more variation into my routine. Actually, I have a huge, not revelation, not confession, just news. I quit my gym. I actually, after many, many years, said, you know what? I need to mix it up. It was expensive, and I got everything I need here. So I'm walking the walk with you guys. I've got the home gym. It's not enormous, but it doesn't have to be. I've got my body weight exercises. I've got my max. I've got the tread climber, the treadmill. So I quit the gym. And you know what? It was really scary, and it was really freeing. So we'll talk a lot more about that. So I'm going to change my body with you guys at home. My gym, you know, I used to not have to pay for a gym, right? Because I would teach classes. I was a trainer. Then when I stopped training and stopped teaching classes, I suddenly had to pay for a gym, which was really interesting for me because I never had to do it. And then you realize how expensive. You've got the low-end gyms. You've got the higher-end gyms. I'm out. I'm working at home with you guys. So, yes, I think it was Mary who you hit. So I have 7 tips. You hit number 5. We will go through them in order, but number 5 for me is drink water. Drink lots and lots of water. I have a difficult time doing that because every time I start to do that, I realize my bladder is that of like a 3-year-old. So, you know, but that's okay. So we drink water. Our bodies are comprised of a huge percentage of water. It has a whole host of functions in our body. So yes, and one tip outside the 7 tips is not only drink water, but start your day with a glass of water. And then before each meal, each snack, drink a glass of water. It will not only hydrate you, but will help fill you up a little bit and will keep you from overeating. These little tips, I always say the little tips are the ones that make the big changes. And it's true. We talk about there is no just, there is no only when it comes to exercise, right? Same thing holds true with these tips. The tips and the tricks that we talk about every week here are the keys to your success. It's just a matter of implementing them over time. So yes, drink water is number 5. Let me go to number 1, and then we'll go back to your comments and questions. My first and foremost tip, trick, rule of nutrition is eat real food. Eat real food. If man makes it, try to avoid it. If it comes with a label, try to avoid it. If it comes in a bag, try to avoid it. Now, there are healthier options now that are pre-made, but you know, if you look behind me, I always have, for my kids, this is always full. It is always full of fruit, bananas, and it was full, and it goes away, or, you know, empties almost daily. Because my kids, and we always have extra kids in the house, and I'm always cutting up fruit, putting it out. So eat real foods, whole foods, foods that have not been processed. That is, for me, the number 1 rule of nutrition, is eat healthy whole foods. What else do we have going on here, Quinn? I see things flying by.
Yes, we have, Wendy says good morning from Hudson, Massachusetts. Candace says she likes to add slices of lemon and cucumber to her water to make sure she's consuming enough during the day.
Such a great point. And there are so many flavored waters, as Candace is kind of alluding to. The problem is, and that's a great way to do it. So Candace has the healthy tip, right? So she's doing it herself. She's saving money. She's controlling the ingredients that are in it, and she's adding a little flavor to it. And that's one thing we'll talk about today is, as always, with exercise, with motivation, we're going to give you a whole host of options. You're going to find what works for you. Is it lemon? Is it cucumber? Is it plain water? I have a tougher time drinking plain water. I like to flavor it too. But that's such a great, simple tip on how to make it a little more palatable for you. If you don't like it, you're not going to do it. You know, whether it comes to exercise or eating. So you have to find those little things, and that's what today's show is about, is giving you all of these options for these healthy ways of eating. Then you're going to find what works for you. And let me say, just like exercise, what works for you with exercise will change over time. What works for you with nutrition will change over time. I already have next week's topic. Next week, I'm going to give you the 3 healthy breakfast options that I rotate. So you're going to change it. You're going to have different things over time that work for you, and that's okay. But people tend to get down on themselves and think, oh my gosh, I used to do the tread climber every day, and I can't get to it anymore. Well, it's time to mix it up. So that's a great way to look at not only your exercise, but your nutrition. Number 2 tip of nutrition is eat breakfast. Eat breakfast. I know many of you are not hungry. I'm not always hungry, but you have to look at it in a bunch of different ways. First and foremost, that's your fuel for the day, right? So if you get up and you have nothing, and then you spend 3-4 hours at work, of course you're going to make poor choices. You're starving. You're ravenous. Your blood sugar is going to drop. It's so much easier to run to the candy machine and grab a quick fix. So if you look behind me, where is it? Here we go. I feel like a weatherman. You've got the oatmeal. I have it out in the open, ready to go. That will be next week one of my go-to breakfasts. Simple, easy to do, quick, a great source of carbohydrate, a slow-releasing carbohydrate, and I add a bunch of things into it to make it that much healthier and that much more palatable, just like Candace with the water. So, number 2 rule. First, eat real food. Second, eat breakfast. Now, I know I've had many clients over the years say, Tom, well, I'm not hungry. And my answer is, if we're trying to lose weight and to be healthy, they obviously were eating later in the day and not healthy choices. So it's not that hard to, I don't even want to say force yourself, but to eat breakfast. We need to do it. We make our kids do it. You wouldn't send your kids off to school without eating breakfast, hopefully, and you shouldn't do so yourself. Your brain works better. All of those things are true when you eat breakfast. So number 2 rule, eat breakfast. Any other tips coming through, Quinn, or things people are doing?
None yet.
None yet? All right. Welcome to everyone. Again, we got people in Canada. We got people in the UK. We got Deborah, East Coast, West Coast. Please, you guys did a great job of sharing this. So if you can share this, that would be great. And you know what? Excuse me for 1 second while I share this as well. So let's all take a moment and just share away. And that way we will get a bigger and bigger group There is power in numbers. I say it each and every week. So let me see here if I can pull it up. Apologize. Here we go. I'm going to share this too. So please share. I'm going to share on. Here we go. Share to. Sorry, guys. 1 second. All right. Here we go. All right. Post. There we go. Share away. The bigger, the better. The more people we have, the more feedback, the more comments, the more helpful this will be to you. So again, today's all about nutrition. I started a second master's years ago in nutrition because I said, you know what? I got the exercise science. I've got the sports psychology. I have to learn the nutrition. I stopped after about 3 or 4 classes because I realized it was a lot of stuff. And listen, if I had all the time in the world, I would stick with it. But biology, chemistry, what I've realized over the years is, and I have the sports nutrition certification, is the answers are simple. It's the application that's difficult. If you have a food allergy or things like that, then that makes it more complicated. But the basic eating healthy, being healthy through nutrition is not complicated. It really, really isn't. Unfortunately, what happens is, let me just turn this because now I'm seeing myself. I don't want to see myself that way. The articles to sell diet books, they make it complicated. It's your blood type. It's this. It's that. Don't eat now. No, it's not that difficult. It's hard to say to you because I know you say, well, I'm struggling. I get that. But one major reason you're struggling is bad information. The 7 tips I will give you today, I promise you, if you implement them over time, you will absolutely be the healthiest you can be. It's the simple changes over time. It's not deprivation. It's not cutting out entire macronutrients. It is systematic, consistent, small changes over time. Number 3 rule. Now, this is the current research. This is what works for me and what has worked for my clients. And it kind of makes sense. You're not only going to eat breakfast, everybody, but you're going to eat every 3 hours or so if you can. Okay? 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day. Rather than letting the wheels fall off, waiting long stretches of time, and it becomes fun and almost, I love when I put people on this for the first time and they say, wow, I couldn't believe I got to eat again. Yeah, we need to eat. We need to have a healthy relationship with food, and we don't. We just don't. You know, someone once said, and it was so smart at a nutrition conference I went to, Americans sit down at a table and the first thing they think is, what can't I eat? What do I have to stay away from? In other countries, generally speaking, it's changing too. European countries especially, they enjoy their food. They sit down, they eat whole foods, rich foods. They eat everything. They eat it in moderation, and they tend to eat whole, unprocessed foods. So that's what we have to do. Number 1, eat real food. Number 2, eat breakfast. Number 3, try to eat every 3 hours or so. That's going to keep you fueled up. It's going to keep you from getting ravenous. And that is just one simple way to keep, again, from overeating later in the day. Because that's what generally all of us do. I'm still learning. It's a constant experimentation of trying to balance the energy expenditure with the energy intake. And there is no perfect. Anything new, Quinn? Any comments, suggestions?
Nothing coming in yet.
Come on, people. Nutrition should be the one you guys are all... Maybe it's just I'm giving you such great information. But please, give us your tips, tricks. Let us know. Let me know. Let us all know your questions, your comments. That is super helpful. I'm going to give you what I've studied, what has worked for me and my clients, but I want to hear from you because each and every comment you guys make helps someone else out. I promise you. Number 4.
We do have some comments. Sorry about that. My page did not refresh by itself. Sorry, everyone. Deborah said she has essential oils in her water, like lemon, grapefruit, orange, ginger.
Love it.
And she said it's delicious. Carlos said he's on the road at work daily drinking water is his number 1 problem because he has no place to pee and he can't stop a million times.
Right. That's such a great point. Yeah,
it really is. Anne-Marie says good morning. Good morning from Amy. Deborah says, gave Carlos some advice, keep a mayo jar in his car. Joy said that her problem is not eating enough or regularly.
Yes.
And Mary wants to know if they're doing boiled eggs or juice today.
We're doing a protein shake. I know. And this is, by the way, Deborah, I have this front and center for you. That is the egg cooker. This will be my egg segment. You know, maybe that's week 3. But by the way, great comments. Welcome to everyone. Carlos, I get it. And that's, everyone has different things throughout their day, and we have to figure out what works for us. I work in an office building where, you know, I'm running to the restroom every 20 minutes or so. Same type of issue. So, you know, we have to be, you have to kind of make it work for you. So, you know, I used to go on long trips, driving trips, and I realized I can't bring a bottle of water in the car. It becomes an issue. So I get it. And we have to all work within these rules as they apply to our lives. Love it, Deborah. Essential oils, I think she said, and different things. I mean, these are things that, you know, I haven't even tried yet. And I love hearing everyone's tips. And I hope everyone does too, because these are things we can all try and go, oh my gosh, because we get bored with things. So the more we learn about what works for other people and what works scientifically, then we have options, because we need a lot of options. It changes over time. So yes, we're going to do a quick, super healthy, super easy protein shake at the end. Again, I always say real food is the best option, but we can't always eat real foods. And so we're going to fill in the gaps with supplements and different things like that. But we're going to do it as healthy as possible as well.
Candace has a question.
Yeah.
She said she's curious about juice cleanses that a lot of people she knows will kickstart a diet or a fitness program, but it seems like a quick fix.
Oh my God, we have such a smart group, Quinn. Yes. So juice cleanses, they have them at my gyms, and they're expensive. You know, there's a little juice bar. You can do 1 day, 3 days a week, 2 weeks. I have changed my thought process on this. I used to say, no. You know, deprivation bad. And I've changed. And what I realized is exactly what she said. If you do a 1 day, I'm okay with a 1 day, maybe 2, but that's pushing it for me. If you want to truly jumpstart and you're going to go from that cleanse to healthy eating, implementing everything we're talking about today, then I'm okay with it. But when you start to go longer, you know, and these people talk about getting toxins out of your body and things like that, the science there is really iffy. And truly, if we're being healthy all the time, your body is really good at getting rid of your toxins. That's what your kidneys and your liver and all those internal organs are for. But the short of it is, again, if you're doing it for 1 day, I'm okay with it. The problem is and we've talked about this, when you deprive your body of protein and carbohydrates, you start to eat into your muscle. So if you go on a really long juice cleanse, it applies to just about any diet. We've talked about this. You are eating into your muscle stores. You are lowering your metabolism. So you go from a juice cleanse that was an extended period of time, you have lowered your metabolism. You have eaten into the one thing that burns calories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So juice cleanse, I'm okay with it for 1 day, jump start, but you darn well better go from that juice cleanse to eating healthy. And then try to stick with that. If we're eating healthy all the time, I shouldn't say all the time, the majority of the time, you don't need those cleanses. But listen, every now and again, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to feel different, kind of empty the system out. I have a tough time doing a full day. So I'll do 12 hours. But yes, short term, I'm okay with that. Did we go to number 4? No. So number 4, eat carbs and protein together whenever you can. So if you're doing the 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day, I want you to try to eat carbs and protein at each meal. I want you to say, every time you sit down to eat, what is my healthy carbohydrate? I have my kids doing this now. And what is my healthy protein? Okay? When you do that together, you're more satiated. You're getting in your protein, because far too many people, I would argue, don't get in enough protein. I don't care what the research says. You look around, they're just not. So each and every meal, breakfast, we'll talk about it. When I make my protein shake, we'll talk about it. What's the healthy carb? What's the healthy protein? I see comments flying by, Quinn. And feel free.
Yep, Linda says, you want to talk boring, one word, apples. I eat 1 a day, every day. So sick of them. What else has that much fiber and is low calorie and also easy to grab and go?
That's a great point. Yeah, and you know what? I always say, you know, the saying an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's so simple, but, you know, there's something to that. Obviously, fruit has so many nutrients in it. almost any kind of fruit and vegetable, I would just search for that. Is it a banana? Is it, it's tough to replicate exactly what's in that apple, obviously, but fruits and vegetables, we talk about this constantly, right? Whole foods, if you can supplement that, substitute that with any other fruit, or, you can get super healthy with the vegetables as well. That's it. But also think of pairing that apple. Listen, I don't want to eat an apple by and large by itself. So back to what I was just talking about, I take peanut butter or almond butter, but I'm more a peanut butter guy. I tried. Almond butter, it's too messy. All that water on top and everything. So a little bit of peanut butter, and this is what I do for my kids. I've talked about this before. I take a banana, I cut it up, I put a little peanut butter on top. When they come home from school, that is sitting right here, right? And they just walk by it and grab it. So the same thing with us as adults. Yes, and that's so great. An apple a day, you're doing such good things for your body. Back to the simple kind of changes. So think of pairing it with a protein. You can even have some cheese with it. You don't want too much, but there's a little protein there. So either pair it with a protein and or just think of substituting another fruit, vegetable, anything like that. But it's tough. That is such a great whole food. Just try to prepare it maybe a little differently. Love it. Thank you for that. More, Quinn?
Awesome. We have another question from Ray. He said, what's a good meal that won't leave you bonked out for energy in the middle of a heavy workout? He doesn't want to overeat, but he doesn't want to run out of energy either.
And is it during the workout or before, Quinn?
He said, what's a good meal that won't leave you bonked for energy in the middle of a heavy workout?
Ooh. Oh, okay. So what he's saying is, I think in the middle of the workout is bonked for energy, not necessarily eating during. You want the slow-releasing carbohydrate. So I'm guessing, I think it was Ray, that you're doing long workouts. Generally, if it's a workout of an hour or less, and you eat, 300, 400 calories prior, that's going to be really good to fuel your workouts. Such a great question, though, Ray, because I'm someone who doesn't need very much before a workout, if it's not super long. But nutrition, sports nutrition especially, is so individualized, right? It's what works for you. That being said, carbohydrates are our body's preferred energy source during exercise. So one of my favorite go-to is the oatmeal. If I'm working out early in the morning, hard workout, oatmeal is slow releasing. You may need a faster releasing, though. This is where it gets a little tricky, right? Fruit has a higher GI index, which means it's going to be absorbed in your bloodstream faster. The kind of extreme example of that are the gels that endurance athletes will take. That's super high, acting carbohydrate. So back to apples, things like that. Fruit is a great pre-workout, healthy pre-workout. A lot of people will take whole wheat bread. Again, pair that with protein, some peanut butter, almond butter, even some eggs. But you need to experiment, Ray, and find what works for you. But generally think, I'm just giving you ballpark, a couple hundred calories with the majority of those from carbohydrate and maybe a little bit from protein. And that generally will work for a lot of people. Again, there's this new thing about high-fat diets for exercise. I'm not there yet, so just know that that's out there. Great questions, you guys. So hopefully that helps. Any carbohydrate is generally going to help you during exercise, especially if you're doing long exercise. Let's go to number 5. We already had, I forget who brought it up. I think it was Wendy, maybe. Drink water. Drink water. Drink lots of water. Just be careful if you're someone like Carlos who's driving a lot. Deborah had a solution for that. I will leave it at that. See, this is the great thing. I get people like Deborah to give those tough to answer questions with those real life answers and solutions. Number 6. Now we're getting a little bit away from the food side, but this is super important. So the number 6 tip that I have for healthy nutrition is plan ahead. Now, I am one of the laziest guys in the world when it comes to eating. I just am. I'm being honest. I'm so lazy. I will buy stuff pre-done if I have to. So I have found, back to the egg cooker, things that I can do really quickly that will last a long time. Boiling eggs, hard boiling eggs, planning ahead, having the food ready to go. The grill. It's summer now for many of us. You know, you're grilling outside. Grill if you're a chicken person or a meat person. Maybe you're not, but if you are, don't cook just one. You know, if you're cooking chicken for dinner, cook 6, 7, 8 chicken breasts and store them. So plan ahead. That is such a simple yet important tip of people in this industry. If you're fitness models, things like that, people who are healthy athletes, they plan ahead because, listen, if you're scrambling and you're busy and you open up that fridge and you're hungry, you're going to grab what is simple and easy. What you want to do, and I'm jumping ahead of myself, you want to plan ahead that way. That is such an important thing. And again, if you have kids, having those easy to grab, ready to go, healthy options is so important. And that's actually number 7. Let me just get there. So stock your house with healthy options. Listen, I have a drawer in this house which has the cookies and the fun things. You know, that's here. We do that 20% of the time. You know, desserts are fine. But we also have a heck of a lot of healthy options that the kids, my kids, and all the other kids who we usually have a full house after school, they're grabbing for it too. And I love offering the healthy options to other people's kids too. So if your kids are over, they're going to get some healthy options, but they're also going to get cookies. They're just going to get the healthy options first. What else we have going on? Quinn, anything? Did I lose her? She may have run to the bathroom. She may be drinking water.
Oh, sorry. I'm right here, Tom. Gail said she just doesn't know what to eat in the morning, so it sounds like next week's segment on 3 breakfast options will really be great for her.
Great.
Deborah gave Linda the suggestion of eating pears instead of apples, which is a great option.
Perfect.
Deborah also asked, is boiled baby potatoes with salt good or bad fuel?
That's a great fuel, Deborah. We have such a smart group. That is something, if you do ultra marathons, I mean, if you study the extremes, we learn so much about ourselves, right? Which is why I push myself. It's to learn to hopefully be able to come back and you learn about the body and all that kind of stuff. So Deborah, you're absolutely right. If you look at people who do 100-mile races and more, 50 to 100 ultra marathons, that is one of the options that they will have at the tables. So that is a great source of fuel, especially if you're going longer. But there's a carbohydrate, some salt to, especially if you're sweating a lot. But that is a great option. And I love your pear recommendation too. Fine fruits, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, John has a question. He said, which protein powder is best for recovery?
Love it. So is that John, Quinn?
Yep.
Great question. And this is where we get too complicated, I would argue. And I've written for all the different magazines, Men's Fitness, Men's Health, what's the best protein and stuff. Back to the simple solution, right? What's the best type of cardio? The one you will do. What's the best protein? Now, yes, there are different absorption rates and things like that, but you just, first and foremost, make sure you get in enough protein, right? That's all I truly care about. My clients, and you are going to see results if you get enough protein in. Now, whey, soy, pea, so many different kinds of protein, and we could go into the science behind it, but I don't want to. I don't want to make it complicated for you because I know your success will come from getting it in consistently, not what kind. And there are so many different kinds out there, and I used to buy the expensive brands. And then when I realized and learned more about the sports nutrition, now I can just look at the label and say, you know what? I want to save a couple dollars. I don't need to, spend $60 on protein when I can get it for $19.95, and it's exactly the same thing. It just doesn't have that expensive label on it, the branding. So I'm going to keep it at that and keep it really simple for you guys. I will throw out the one thing. Yes, whey protein generally, if you look at bodybuilders and people who are really trying to build muscle, they will tend to stick to or get in whey protein. But I'm doing the eggs. I'm doing the chicken. I'm doing the fish. I am doing the protein powders too to supplement. But first and foremost, I'm going to try to get that protein in a healthy food-based way, and then I'm going to supplement that with the protein powders. But I don't want to give you a specific brand. I don't want to give you a specific type. I just want to give you that rule that you need to get in enough protein. And the broad round number that I will throw out there, you will read different things. If you're a bodybuilder, this doesn't apply. But generally, if you're 150 pounds, you want to get in about half your body weight in grams of protein per day. Now, if you want to build more muscle, it's a little different. 60 grams, 75. If you break that down, that's about 10 or 15 grams every meal, right? So if you just stick to what I said, what rule was it? Number 4, eat carbs and protein at every meal. If you're getting in a little protein at every meal, you don't even have to think about the number. Because you know what, guys? It is really hard to count calories. It is really hard to, when I wrote my sports nutrition book, they'll talk about percentages. How do you know, unless you plan your day out in advance, what percentage you're going to get from carbs and fat? We can't possibly do that. So there are so many nutrition books that I read and look at, and you say, how does anyone follow this? So keep it simple. I will hammer that thought and that just way of living home because it works. Keep it simple. I hope that helps. I saw more go by, Quinn.
Yeah, Mary wants to know what brand is the egg cooker.
That I will tell you. Cuisinart. I think it's $39. I got it as a gift. Cuisinart Egg Central. That's how lazy I am. It's just fun too. You know what? It's just the amount of water you put in dictates how it cooks the eggs. So if you want them hard boiled, it's got this little, and we will use it. Maybe that will be, we will roll that into next week's show. So I will give you the healthy options for breakfast, and we'll use that as well. But listen, you have a pot of water, you could do it that way too. It's just kind of fun. And here, it's a great point, actually. If you make it fun, so I'm actually more likely now to use that for a while, and then I'll get bored with that, and I'll be on to the next thing. I have had this for a really long time. I always wanted this. It's expensive. I got it as a gift. I don't use it half enough as I should. So just back to, we will constantly be getting bored with things, and that's okay. That's why you watch this show, because we're going to give you different ways to keep changing. We change, and that is something you have to embrace, that the goal is to keep moving, it's to keep eating healthy, and the way you do that will change over time. Again, I just quit the gym after how many years? I need a huge change, and it was really exciting. Now it's forcing me to do something totally different, to do my workouts primarily, or not primarily, at home and outside. And I'm excited because I needed a huge change. And that's one of the huge tips. What else? Anything, Quinn?
Yeah, so Candace says one of her favorite high-protein, low-calorie snacks is the Vermont Smoke and Cure meat stick, kind of like a beef jerky meat stick. Deborah says that those baby potatoes were really working for her on long rides and runs, so she's going to stick with it. Wendy says, keeping it simple, if it comes in a box, it's probably not the healthiest.
It's exactly it.
Deborah threw out there that her rice cooker on steamer mode cooks eggs pretty good too.
Look at those tips. Seriously, each week, if you miss the show, go back and just read these comments. And this is what's so powerful. I actually think that the gym is going to go away. The gym as we know it, I think, is quote-unquote dead, right? Because why did we go there? And I'm not going to say there will always be gyms and there's a purpose to them, but working out at home, taking the word exercise out, moving, healthy options, all of the things that everyone's bringing up, this is living and this is day-to-day, working all of these things in small ways into your life. So using the rice cooker, using the specific egg cooker, all of these different things are tips and tricks that you will use. And my goal with this show and with everything I do is to help people just change their lives through fitness and nutrition and just have the best life possible. And that's why I have a problem with the diet books and the bad fitness advice, because people follow it. They actually do the right thing. You do the diet to a T, and it doesn't work long term. Of course it doesn't, because it wasn't meant to. The tips and tricks we give, that I will give you every week, are the simple solutions. They may not be the ones that are sexy and sell crazy books and get you on certain TV shows, but that's fine, because this is what works. and we're going to give you the solutions. That's what we do at Bowflex. We not only give you the solutions, we give you the better solutions. We take the walking and we make it better. We take the elliptical, we make it better. And that's why I love bringing this show to you. And the core group we have going now, we have some really smart people who have made changes. Deborah and Wendy and everybody out there. Thank you for sharing all these comments because they are super helpful. I will give you the science and the tips and the experience I have, but I need you guys to constantly add to this conversation because that is really, really powerful. I really think community going forward with being healthy is everything. We need to be connected in a healthy way and help each other out, and that's what this show's about. I'm going to be here. You're going to be here when you can, and all the feedback and tips you give, super helpful. So let me go through it one more time. If you joined us late, the 7 tips in order. Eat real food. As I think Wendy said or someone said, if it comes in a box, it's probably not healthy for you. That's a good tip. That's a great tip. I think Jacqueline said that. If man makes it, don't eat it. We're getting better at that. There's some better options, but if you stick to that mantra, that's pretty great advice. Number 2, eat breakfast. Number 3, try to eat every 3 hours or so. So don't get ravenous. Try to fuel your body like it's a machine, like it needs to be fueled. Number 4, eat carbs and protein together whenever possible. I will constantly hammer that home. It is so effective for me and for all my clients over the years. If you just have carbs, if you just have protein, and you don't kind of live a lifestyle where you put those together and that's your thought process each and every time you eat, I can't tell you how much that will change not only how you look, how you feel, everything. Number 5, drink lots of water. Number 6, plan ahead. Plan ahead whenever possible. Cook up a bunch of healthy things. You know, whenever you're making the eggs, making the breakfast, just make a lot of it and store it, put it aside. That's super helpful, especially if you're busy, you have a bunch of kids, you're working, all of those things. And then 7, it ties into number 6, stock your house with lots of healthy options. Lots of healthy options, You're not always going to want to grab for that apple or the pear. So when you're opening that fridge and you're staring at it, you need 3, 4, 5 options that you can go, okay, I really don't feel like carrots or celery right now, but I have X to grab as well. So those 7 tips, I promise you, if you apply them consistently, that is some of the best advice to living a healthy life long-term, not a short-term fix. I can give you all those short-term fixes. You'll feel horrible, you'll lose weight quickly, and you'll rebound. That is not the way to go. And it's not what we will preach here. Anything new, Quinn?
Yeah, Don has a great question. He said he's heard that cardio, such as jogging or running, damages your knees and hips. What's your opinion?
I love it. Is that Don?
Yep, Don.
Okay, thank you, Don. Such a great question. I probably talk about it at least a couple times a week. There is hard science behind this, okay? We were meant to move. We were meant to move forward. We were meant to run, okay? They have done longitudinal studies, which means they have looked back at many, many studies over many, many years. And you know what they found? That runners actually have less incidence of osteoarthritis than do non-runners, okay? So runners actually have less arthritis, and the reason for that, there's several, but one of the primary reasons, and this is really interesting, is that runners generally weigh less, right? So one of the toughest things on our bodies is to carry around excess weight 24 hours a day. If you run 3 times a week or jog, Don, I think it was, for 30 minutes, that's in 90 minutes over the course of over 100 hours. That's okay. That's not only okay, it's good, and there's so many things that come from that. So the short of it is, that is one of the top myths I've written about innumerable times. It will never go away, but running is not bad for us. Now, if you have an injury, you have to be careful, right? So people will say to me all the time, I can't run because I have bad knees, I have a bad back. What that says to me is something needs to be fixed. So I've talked about this before. When I was a trainer, I would take clients out for a short run, And they would say to me, X hurts, it's my back, it's my knees. And that would illuminate to me what we needed to work on. Where were their strength imbalances? Where were their flexibility imbalance? So the short of it is absolutely not. We're walking, we're jogging, we're moving. You need to do it slowly. You need to do it progressively. But we were born to run. Daniel Lieberman, one of the greatest friendships I have made, is the professor from Harvard, who is the preeminent guy who talks about how we were born to run. He's in all the books. He's a Harvard professor. He's a runner. He runs barefoot. He is not your typical runner. If you saw him, you'd be surprised. He just doesn't have the look of the, like, I don't have the look of a runner, I would say, the skinnier, tall runner type. And he has done incredible research, and we'll do a whole show on that, because that is a myth that just won't go away. But no, we were born to run. You just have to do it smart, intelligently, and over time it can be one of the greatest forms of exercise for you. But you can still walk, you can still jog, and do all that stuff. Great questions. Thank you for that. And these questions will come up each and every week. There are no dumb questions, because there is so much misinformation out there. That is what this show is about. Any other great questions like that, Quinn? That was awesome.
Yeah, we have some comments from Wendy and Desiree. Wendy says she prefers working out at home because it makes so she has no excuses. She always has 15 minutes. Wendy has a great tip for when shopping for your groceries to start with the produce aisles, and then shop the perimeter, the meat, the dairy, the protein, and then visit the middle aisles. That's where they typically keep all the chips and the frozen foods, the unhealthy stuff. So that's a great tip for her to fill up her basket before she gets to the unhealthy stuff. And then Ray's got a great question. What's your opinion on the keto diet? Can you truly perform on meals like that?
Yeah. And what was the final thing? Can you truly perform?
Yeah.
Yeah, jury's out on that. Let me start with that. So I'm not sold on that. There's a lot of weird stuff with the ketogenic. And you know what? We'll go into that in another show because that's becoming more and more popular. I think it'll go away. I'm always looking at the science, though, and I don't ever want to poo-poo, which is why I keep bringing up there are endurance athletes who are going away from carbs and trying to go high fat. I'm not there yet. So anything that has the word diet after it, unless it's Mediterranean before it, I don't like. Mediterranean diet is everything we talk about. Healthy forms of carbohydrates, lean sources of protein, healthy fats. So I'm still a big believer. Carbohydrates, preferred bodies, energy source, protein to build muscle, healthy fats for other bodily functions. I'm going to stick to that. Yeah, I'm not... I don't think we're going to reinvent the wheel, you guys, with diet. I just think it's a way for people to sell books and everything we've talked about and all the tips. What Wendy, I think, just gave, that is one of the smartest tips for shopping. The good stuff is on the perimeter, right? Everything we talk about when we talk about eating, healthy proteins, lean sources of protein, healthy carbs, those are on the perimeter. When you start to get interior in the supermarkets, that's your processed food. So thank you, Wendy. Just great tips. Follow these simple tips. I promise you. And then there was one more. What did I miss, Quinn? Was there one other?
Yeah, Desiree said the home workouts, there's no excuses when you always have 15 minutes to work out at home.
That's it. The 60-minute, the 30-minute workout, sure. That's okay. You want to do that, that's fine. But that is going to go away because we're going to be talking about movement. We're going to be talking about fitting in shorter workouts throughout the day. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. At night now, I'm doing my core exercises, right? In front of the TV, I'm watching hockey. I'm doing some planks, some crunches. Then I get, stretching in my office. So this is the way of the future, you guys. We brought you a 14-minute workout because the number one reason for not exercising is time. And we are here to tell you, I'm here to tell you, 60 minutes, there's nothing magical about that. And what happens is people end up not doing anything because they don't have 60 minutes. Science shows 3 10-minute bouts of exercise is exactly the same benefit as one 30. Most people aren't going to do one 30-minute, much less one 60-minute. So Desiree saying you have time for 15 minutes. Exactly. I'm looking, my home gym is right there. It's down the stairs. Instead of taking the time to go to the gym, I have quit the gym. I am now going to do everything we preach to you, and I'm going to start doing it all at home too and outside. So Desiree's absolutely right. That's the way of the future. Let me just put this to you real quickly too. And this is the craziness of the show, is I'm going to go off on tangents. When I wrote my book, Beat the Gym, and I owned a gym for a short amount of time, which I always said I would never do, the model of a gym is to have people sign up and then go away. Okay? And that's always been the way it is. It's not the way I wanted to own a gym, and that's why one of the reasons I don't. Now, with $10 gyms, it's called the HPLV model. High volume, HVLP, I should say. Low price, high volume. There are some gyms that have 10,000 members or more. So they are banking on the fact that people pay and don't show up. If 10% of the people, the members of those gyms showed up at the same time, there would be complete and utter chaos. You wouldn't even be able to fit in the door. So my point is, those places are not designed for you to get results. They are designed to have you pay a certain amount and not feel guilty about not coming. So this is why we're giving you the options for the home. This is why the future is the home. I could not own a gym and want to have 10,000 members and then hope to God that they didn't show up. I actually want people to have results. And we want you to have results. And that's why the 14-minute workout and all of these things we're talking about is what will work for you. So I get excited. I get excited for you guys. I love bringing you these tips and tricks every week. We're coming up to the end of the show. I might have to do the little protein thing soon, shake. But you're absolutely right. And that's what's so fun. You guys are helping each other out with all of these tips that you guys have, that what works for you. But if you have a home, you have a home gym. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't have to be complicated, but that is the message that we've been sold, you've been sold for so long. Anything, Quinn, before I make my attempt at the...
Yep, looks like we've got one last question.
Sure.
From Sandra. She says, is the Bowflex HVT machine better than using free weights?
Different. Great question. Different. We're going to give you different options. You get a different effect. So I personally do both, and I think you should too, right? So the HVT, if you guys don't know, we just released it. Truly revolutionary piece of equipment. Back to wanting you guys to get, if you say, oh my gosh, I don't have time to separate my cardio from my strength training, well, we put it together. So this is high velocity training. So it is strength training with movement. You're going to up your calorie burn. You're going to raise your heart rate while you do strength moves. But see, I'm not someone who's ever going to say, you still want to do free weights. So I have my Select Tech, and I'm going to use the HVT too. Now, money is an option for many people. So if you said, I only have one, I just want to do one thing, that's what the HVT is for. It's for someone who says, I'm not going to get cardio, I'm not going to get separate strength, give me one thing. And that's what that is for. So that is another solution. It is not the be-all, end-all. In other words, well, it is, I should say. If you're only going to do one thing, we need to do cardio, we need to do strength. So that is what the HVT is for, but different effects. I don't want to get too much into the science, but free weights will do a little bit different. Will be a little different in the muscle building category, but they're both great options. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. All right, real quickly, I'm going to show you. So if you're busy, again, real food is the way to go, but I'm going to supplement my protein intake with protein shakes. And what I love now is my son Tommy is making his own protein shakes. So I'm a late in life lactose intolerant person, which I didn't find out for a long time, which made Ironmans and things really interesting. So I use almond milk, but you can use water, you can use whatever you want. So keep it really simple. Whatever your liquid is, that's up to you. I like almond milk. That makes it taste good for me. So I can get away with just doing the most basic thing I can do is water and protein. I can do that in a shake bottle. but if I'm home and I am, making it as healthy as possible, this is what I'm going to do. So you've got your almond milk. Then for consistency and for a good healthy carb, banana. Banana will give it like that little, make it a little thicker, and that's what I love. And then, excuse me 1 second, I love the frozen fruit, right? The science behind it is frozen is just as healthy as fresh because of the way they freeze it. And I buy, obviously, huge bags, right? Blueberries are so healthy for us. I have mixed fruit as well. But having the frozen fruit is also going to give it a certain consistency. So for me, almond milk, a banana, frozen fruit, and then it's just well, I got to put the protein in too. You're getting protein in the milk. Again, I'm not going to give you specific brands. That's up to you. So protein powder, whatever one you like. And then here's the real interesting thing, an omega-3 fat. So our healthy fats we talk about, I just do a little bit. So just a couple ingredients, you guys. You got your base, your water or your milk, your almond milk, your whole milk, whatever you want. You've got your protein powder. You've got your fruit. I do frozen fruit plus a banana. And then your omega-3 fats. You can throw chia seeds in there. You can do whatever you want. Let me try to make this not too loud. And that's it, you guys. Oh, almost had a nice, let me just grab a... So, look at the color on that. Look at how, that is just awesome. So if you want, you're doing the 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day. Let me give you the quick tip. So I will do my healthy breakfast. I will then, if I'm busy in my office, I'll do a protein shake. Then I will do a healthy lunch, salad with some protein. I may do another protein shake if I'm super busy, if I'm still at the office. Then I'm going to do a healthy dinner. There are 5 meals utilizing protein shakes. My kids, they'll come home from school every now and again. Sometimes they'll grab the real fruit. Sometimes they'll make their own protein shake. There are so many options for that, but there are your 5 basic ingredients. You want your liquid. Is it water? Is it milk? Is it almond milk? You want your protein powder. Totally up to you. Pea protein, whey protein, soy protein. I don't care. I throw fresh fruit in. That's your healthy carb, right? I throw a banana in and some frozen fruit. And then I do the healthy fat. So you can do this. Let me grab one more thing, you guys. Hold on. You can also do chia seeds, right? Super healthy, great source of fat. How's that for my first cooking? I call that cooking, by the way. That, to me, if I prepare something in my kitchen, that is cooking. Are they just impressed, Quinn?
Mary said not to forget the straw and the umbrella, so I think you're professional.
That's right. I need to garnish it and do those special little flourishes at the end, right? But
right.
What else?
John has a quick question
Sure.
for you. He said, do you need to worry about the sugar content in the berries?
Wow, that was John. Such a great question.
John, yeah.
Yeah, and that, John, that is awesome because that is one of the most misunderstood things about fruit. I tell this story. I had a woman who said to me, bananas were bad for you. And I said, why? And she said, they make you fat, the sugar. Guys, this is where we are so kind of confused about nutrition. Yeah, absolutely, there's sugar in there. And there's fruit sugar, right? And we go, oh, fruit sugar, that's bad, high fructose, sugars and things like that we hear all the time. There are so many nutrients. If we're going to get sugar from somewhere, get it from fruit, you guys, because what you're getting in addition to that is nutrients and vitamins and minerals that you really can't get anywhere else. I don't want to get too sciencey with it, but it's such a great question, John. It's so misunderstood. There's so many people that stay away from fruit for that very reason. The sugar content, high in sugar, if you're going to get, again, I'll say it one more time, if you're going to get your sugar from anywhere, why would that not be it, right? That's the way I look at it. I don't put sugar on anything. You know, I'm not throwing sugar into my coffee. This is where I'm getting my sugar from, natural source of sugar. And again, what you get with that, if you don't eat the fruit because of the sugar, you're missing out on these, I would say, such vital nutrients that I think are disease preventative in many cases. You just want to eat these foods. So absolutely, John, that is one of the top questions when it comes to fruit. But again, I'm going to say, if you're going to get your sugar, get it from fruit. And what you get in addition to that, the fiber, the vitamins, the minerals, it is nature's perfect food. So awesome question. But try to do it, again, with the real whole carbohydrates, with berries, with bananas, apples, things like that. Any final questions, Quinn? These are great. You guys all just amazing comments and questions.
No, Wendy and Anne Marie both agree they're impressed with your cooking skills.
I know. Wait till I actually, so I think next week when I'm going to do you'll be very impressed with trying to cook eggs and stuff. I think this is the way of the future. Cooking shows have people who know what they're doing, right? And that's okay. But you're going to see someone who's a little pressed for time, eats healthy, and how I do it. I think that'll be very entertaining. So yes, and I'm actually salivating to drink this right now. And I think you get to that point with the healthy foods and everything, you guys, is that you will train your body to crave the good stuff. And one thing that was so rewarding for me is, you know, I would do this occasionally in front of the kids, and over time they started to ask for tastes, then they started to make it on their own. And that's what's so rewarding for me. And you know, I hope that you guys take the tips that I gave you, that you gave each other, and start to apply those, and then come back and say, you know what, I took Deborah's tip, or I took Candace's tip, and that's working for me, because that's what this hour is about, is just giving you as much information as possible, and finding what works for you. So yeah, keep it simple. This right here has so much good stuff in it. It's going to satisfy me. It's going to be one of those 5 to 6 meals I take. And actually, let me end with, someone brought up that they didn't eat enough. And that is so common. When I tell someone to eat 5 to 6 meals a day, they will say it's too much food. And they'll say, I'm just going to have an apple, which is okay as one of those meals. But I always say, push yourself. Eat more than an apple. Again, have a protein with it. We tend to not eat enough, and then we overeat. So when you start to train your body, and it's just that, you need to train your body, both in the habit of doing it and just your stomach, to eat 300-400 calories, whatever it is, 5 to 6 times a day. Eat medium-sized meals, not small, right? So back to a carb and a protein. So not just a carb. It's going to make you satisfied. It's going to have your body perform that much better, your brain perform that much better. And that is just one of the ways to change your eating habits that I promise you will really make a difference. So don't starve yourself. Give yourself permission to eat. And let me give you one final tip. We're coming up last couple minutes. Try to sit down and eat. We don't do that anymore. We eat in our car. We eat while we're walking. We eat everywhere and anywhere except sitting down for breakfast, sitting down with your family, sitting down at lunch. So when you break it down and say, you know, I'm eating 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day, I'm going to have breakfast. Awesome. I'm going to have this protein shake at my desk. Perfect. But try to get away from the mindless eating in front of the TV. Oh my gosh. You can just take in thousands of calories and not even know it. So when you do the 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day, you're generally not going to sit on the couch and be ravenous at 8 o'clock at night. The vast majority of people take in, myself included, years ago, the vast majority of their calories at night because they don't eat breakfast. You don't eat breakfast. And then you have kind of a decent lunch, and then the wheels fall off at 3 o'clock, and you have a Snickers bar, and then you go, oh my gosh, the blood sugar drops again, you have another Snickers bar or something else, and then you go home, and it's just off to the races, right? That's why eating breakfast, drinking water, 5 to 6 medium-sized meals a day, carbs and protein, simple stuff. I did not give you any foods you can't eat. I did not say you need to restrict anything. I even said you want to do a one-day juice cleanse? Be my guest. That's the difference in the information I'm going to give you, and we're going to give you real-world stuff based in science. And they will always be the small changes that make big results. It's going to be with exercise. It's going to be with diet and nutrition. All right, I'm pretty impressed. I didn't send the shake all over the ceiling. This is going to be my protein shake as soon as we're off the air. Thank you for watching. Share with your friends. Please go to Bowflex.com. Again, there's so much information there. Everything we talk about, there are videos and tips and exercises. So if you have not gone there, go there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are going to give you so much more content in the year to come. Free content. Because we don't want to just sell you the equipment. We want to see you get results. I want to hear you each and every week on this show saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I feel better, that I'm looking better, that I've lost some weight, that I'm stronger. Because it is not just about what you lose, you guys. It's about what you gain. That is the most important thing when it comes to exercise. Weight loss will come. Weight loss is important. But what you do for your body and your mind and your family and your life and your well-being and your mental state through exercise is so much more important. Quinn, any final words or comments or anything?
No.
That's it. You guys are awesome. Again, share away. If you commented and we did not get to it, we will. Thank you for being a part. Send us questions if you have them after the show. BowflexBurn let me give you something else. th@teamholland.com. Email me directly. There you go. th@teamholland.com. We'll answer your question, ask it on air here. Again, have a great week. Thank you for being a part. I love Wednesdays. I love talking to you guys. I love you guys commenting and being a part of the show. So thank you, and believe in yourself.